All right. Next, we're coming to the lecture period. After we prepared everything, we'll now start with our lectures. First, the courses will start. The first lecture usually contains information about the organization of the module, contact persons, and so on and so forth. So if you can, you should really attend them, especially if you're unsure whether to take the module or not. You should note, though, that sometimes attending the first lecture is necessary to get a spot in the module. So be aware of that. Lectures themselves are sometimes given asynchronously via video on ISIS or via Zoom, although we're expecting in this semester there be a lot more lectures in presence here at TU Berlin at the campus. By the way, ISIS offers a chat functionality. Use it if necessary. During your courses, you'll sometimes occur group tasks. And when talking about group tasks, there are 3 different tiers of groups that you can form here at TU Berlin. There are groups for tutorials on Moses. You very rarely have tutorials in your masters, but sometimes there are. If you register on Moses for a tutorial, be sure to select a couple of students that you want to work with together and be with them in the same tutorial. There are also homework groups for prerequisites. This actually happens a lot. For example, in the machine learning courses, you'll have to form groups of 4, 5, 6 students and then do the homework together. So be sure to form them with students you want to work together with. And then there are study groups for learning together. This is informal. You can usually form groups and study together, or you should actually, to be best prepared for the exam in the end, or also during the semester. Just a couple of notes. We're really sure that you know them, but just as a heads up. Notice your fellow members early if you have difficulties completing your part in time, because then they can adapt and maybe take over your part, or at least they know, okay, we need to wait a day longer. And also tell the teachers early if your group doesn't work well, so that they can react and that they can split up the group, move you to another group, so that you don't have to do everything by yourself. Today you'll help out someone, tomorrow somebody else will help you out. So there's give and take for everyone. Speaking of groups and homework and preparation, there will be an exam for every module. So maybe let's talk about this next. We have 3 types of exams. We have written exams, oral exams, and we have portfolio examinations. Those are defined in the module descriptions that you've seen in another video, in an earlier video. And written and oral is pretty much what you'd expect. You either have one exam at the end and maybe some prerequisites. And with oral, you also have one exam at the end, maybe some prerequisites. For written, you'll write something down. For oral, you'll speak to the teacher, to the professor, they'll ask you some questions, and you probably give the correct answers. For portfolio examinations, it's a bit more difficult because these are their own special kind of blend where you can mix and match different kinds of examination types. You should be aware of them. They usually require you to do some work during the semester. We'll come to them back later. And rather new, now existing for about 1.5 years, are online examinations, which usually tend to be a replacement for one of the other examinations. They can be done as open book or as closed book. The examiner will tell you at some point, usually in the beginning of the semester, what kind of module or what kind of exam they are. Yeah, as mentioned before, you can find these exam types in the module description, right at the bottom of the module description. For example, this is the module description for the mathematics intro course. It is a written exam, and you have to do a prerequisite. This is mandatory, of course. There may also be desirable requirements. Those are usually content-wise things you should know in order to have an easier time when visiting the course. It's also possible for a module to not be graded. Then you only get a pass or fail. This is usually not important for many modules because most of them are graded, but you may encounter some ungraded, just to let you know. Those then won't count towards your final grade of your degree. Yeah, coming back to portfolio examinations. So they are examinations consisting of multiple parts. Written tests are very usual. Homework assignments are also very common. Presentations tend to be very important for seminars and for projects. And yeah, then you get a total amount of up to 100 points. And yeah, the grade will then be calculated from this amount of points you got towards those 100 points. Important, you have to register early for these modules, usually within 6 weeks of the from when the lectures have started, sometimes even earlier, especially for projects. And deregistering is only possible until either when the examiner specifies or until the day before the first examination part takes place. So you cannot drop this module when you started it. Be aware of that. This is really, really important. Only take those portfolio examinations that you're rather sure that you can complete. And then you somehow have to enroll for those exams. This is done via KISPOS, or as we will learn later, not right now done via KISPOS, but via MTS, or at the examination office at the Referat Prüfungen, also called 1B or 1B. Yeah, exam registration, if you can do so, do it via MTS. It's rather easy. You go to MTS, you log in first, and then you go to Modulprüfungen an- und abmelden. It's unfortunately not translated in English, even if you switch Moses to English. And very important, you shouldn't confuse this registration with the registration happening on the exams tab, which is left to the MTS tab. The exams tab is only used for maths courses. It's a bit confusing. We've told InnoCampus to fix this. They haven't. So yeah, just be aware that usually registration works via MTS Modulprüfung an- und abmelden. If this doesn't work, there's always a fallback, which is the yellow sheet procedure, which before Corona started was actually a yellow sheet, or it was a white and a yellow sheet attached to it together, which you had to bring to the examination office, wait in line, hand it in, and then get it stamped and bring it back to the examiner. Right now, if you have to register via yellow sheet, then it needs to be done online, usually by email. You'll use your TU issued email address. This is important because otherwise the examination office may not process your request. Deregistration works the same way. There is a different sheet for that. And yeah, you just hand it in and then you send the notice to the examiner that you have deregistered successfully. In summary, how does registration work? You first ask yourself, is it possible to register via MTS exams? If so, then do it. If not, you fill out the yellow sheet. And then you have to ask the module description whether the module is restricted, for example, due to capacity limitation. If so, you need to send your yellow sheet by PDF, for example, to the examiner, get it signed, and then send the yellow sheet to the examination office. If it's not restricted, then you can directly send your yellow sheet to the examination office. You'll then get a response from the examination office, and if that response is successful, then you send the registration confirmation to the examiner, and you're done. If not so, then you'll have to go back to start, to square one, and find the mistake.